Hey guys, welcome to True Reflections. I know. Don't say it, don't say it, don't say it. Don't say it, and don't even think it, okay? I already know what you guys are thinking, all right? I haven't recorded in like forever, okay? From 2020, and we are now on 2021. Like, basically, we're almost in the middle of the year, you know. But let me say this. I haven't recorded a podcast in a while because me personally, I don't want to record a show simply for recording's sake. I want to record something that is meaningful and something that is relatable. Of course, the purpose is to gain a wider audience, to increase your listeners. But I want my podcast to mean something. I want my podcast to evoke thought in the listener's mind, even after listening to it. Like I said, I want it to be relatable, okay? So bear with me. It is a slow process. And, when you have other stuff going on, sometimes other things tend to take the back burner. But I'm not going to make any promises, because I don't like to make promises, especially if it's not something that I am certain that I can keep. Okay, because a promise is a comfort to a fool, and you guys are no fools. Okay, but I will try my best to put in a greater effort in putting out more content for you guys. Okay, so let's get into it. So basically, what I really wanted to share my thought process on today is the importance of respecting another person's feelings. Yes. Why do I say the importance of respecting another person's feelings? Because oftentimes, our words and our actions can either knowingly or unknowingly offend or hurt another person. Okay? And oftentimes we may take it as a joke because to us it's nothing serious. It's nothing major. It's nothing, to be taken out of context or taken out of context or anything to be taken too seriously. But you're not on the receiving end. And we all have to be mindful that our actions and our words can have a negative effect on the person that's on the receiving end at times. Okay, so when a person comes to you and says to you that something you may have done or something that you may have said has hurt their feelings, again, you may not necessarily agree with it, but it is important to at least listen to what the other person is saying to you and honor those feelings. Okay, because it may not mean anything to you, but it means the world to the other person. Okay, so we have to, in a sense, accept another person's truth. And let me say this, I know the world has become so sensitive to like the littlest things. It's almost impossible to share a light-hearted joke without someone being offended by the joke itself. They would totally miss the mark of the joke and, create a mountain out of a grain of sand. And those are the kind of people that I try not to associate myself with too much or try to entertain too much. And I, keep them at arm's length because I'm a very sarcastic person. First of all, nothing I say should be taken seriously unless I'm pissed off. Okay, I'm very sarcastic. And I respond to sarcasm. I know people will be like, that is the lowest form of this or the lowest form of that. But that is me. Okay, that is me on a personal level. But with that being said, that is no excuse for me to be careless with my words and the way that I treat or talk to people. I have to be mindful and, I guess, choose my words carefully, because you don't want to offend anyone and you don't want to hurt another person's feelings. Okay? And then sometimes our own selfishness, because we are so self-absorbed, we can at times be blinded to the negative effects that our actions, not only our words, but our actions also have on another person. And I'm not just speaking like just any old random person per se, even though that we have to be respectful of other people's feelings, whether it's on social media or someone that we know personally. But we have to be careful that we are not being selfish in our actions and in our words, and that sometimes can cause us to do certain things and not be considerate of another person's feelings. Okay. And again, I'm not only talking about just random strangers over social media, or people that you may come into contact with publicly. But if this is someone that this is a friend that on a deeper level, or your mate, your parents, and dare I say it, even your kids. Yes, parents, I'm speaking to you as well, because sometimes as parents, especially growing up Haitian, okay? And you know what? It's not only a Haitian thing. It is at times a Black thing. You can be Caribbean, you can be American, but it is a Black thing in a Black household at times. We as parents can sometimes neglect our children's feelings because they're kids. Personal experience, the adults would say, because I'm the adult, I say so. Oh, I don't want to hear it, or whatever. We speak to our children in such a manner that we are telling them or making them feel like it is not okay for them to express their feelings. Okay? So again, be it your mate, co-worker, a friend, a neighbor, your children, if they come to you and say something that you said, something that you did hurt their feelings, we must honor it. Okay? Because we are not on the receiving end. We are not the one that is feeling what they are feeling. So again, we have to respect another person's feelings, because whilst it may mean nothing to you, honoring and respecting another person's feelings can be such a wonderful gift to them, because now you are telling them that I hear you and I understand you, which then leaves the window of opportunity for you to then apologize. And then you can then make a conscious decision to be more careful as to how you interact with them, be it verbally or physically. Okay, we have to honor the other person's feelings, and especially our mate, and especially our children. And I say children because, again, growing up black, it's almost impossible for us to express our thoughts and our feelings to our black parents. But we need to understand that these little people that the good Lord has entrusted into our care, they have feelings too. They have feelings too. And their feelings are just as important as yours. Like, take a trip back into your childhood and remember a time where, even though you may have been disobedient and you may have done something to upset your parents or whatever the case is, right? And then your parents are, of course, they're disciplining you and they're talking to you or whatever, because what you did wasn't, it wasn't good. It's straight or bad. You were just being a rebellious child, or you was just being bad. Or you don't even have to have done anything wrong per se. But, because sometimes we as parents, we can be in a bad mood, and then our kids are there sometimes, and then, we lash out on them for no apparent reason. So just think back in your childhood and remember a time where your parents were talking to you, or you was trying to talk to your parents, and they didn't want to listen to nothing that you have to say. Remember that feeling the next time that you are talking to your children, or the next time that your children are trying to express something to you. Remember the way that you felt when you were trying to open up to your parents, and you were trying to talk to your parents, and your parents did not believe what you have to say, or they just shut it down, like, completely. Remember that feeling the next time that your children comes to you and wants to talk to you about something, or want to give you their side of the story of what may have transpired. Remember that feeling when you find yourself on the verge of saying something mean to your kids, or when you find yourself on the verge of shutting that child down because they're a child, they don't know nothing, you don't want to hear nothing they have to say. Remember the feeling that you had when your parents reacted that way towards you or treated you that way. Remember that feeling and do different. Because we are bringing up some little people into this world. They are not going to be kids forever. And the way that you treat them, the way that you speak to them, the way that you made them feel, they're always going to carry that with them, and they are going to become adults that don't know how to freely express themselves. And then that is going to bleed out into the community. That's going to bleed out in school, towards their friends and their teachers. When they become adults, that's going to bleed out into the work environment, into the workplace. And when they then find themselves in relationships, that is going to bleed out into the relationship also. It's a ripple effect. So we have to be mindful of our children's feelings when they say, hey mom, hey dad, what you did hurt my feelings, or what you did or what you said to me, I didn't like it. It made me feel a certain way. We need to allow our kids the freedom to freely speak to us, and to freely talk to us, and to freely express themselves, so they can be more effective adults. And when you find yourself in a relationship with your mate, you have to give your mate, you have to make your mate, it is your job to make your spouse comfortable enough to come to you and open up to you about certain things. Ladies, this is especially to us. This is especially to us. We have to make our men comfortable enough to know that they can come to us and be vulnerable without fear of judgment. We have to allow our black men the comfort and the freedom that they may not have necessarily gotten growing up from their parents. And I know a lot of you ladies are probably thinking, well, you know what? You are not going to raise another person's child. You are not going to raise a man or whatever, blah, blah, blah. This is this. And you know what? And I get it. And you know, sometimes like it's really not a responsibility to do another person's job, really, you know. But come on. Their parents may not have known how to effectively communicate with him as a young boy. So now he has become a young man, or a grown man that doesn't know how to effectively communicate with you. So when you find yourself in a relationship with these men, we have to provide a safe haven for them to be able to trust us enough to be vulnerable with us, so that they can freely express themselves. And when they do freely express themselves with us, ladies, we must not throw it back in their face. Because sometimes it can be something so trivial that a guy trusts you with. You know, it could be something so simple. Let's say, for instance, for example, God, I'm trying to think of like the most insignificant thing as an example. Let's say, as a young child, he may have went to the store and, you know, stolen a comic book, and he has never ever mentioned that to anyone in all of his years of living. But then he meets you and he's comfortable with you. You've made him comfortable enough to say, well, hey, you know what? I can share my deepest, darkest secret of the time when I was 8 years old and I went to the store and I stole a comic book. Ooh, right? And he trusts you with that little piece of information, you know? On argument day, please do not repeat the fact that, oh, when you were 9, you stole a comic book. Like, don't do that. Like, and the thing is, like, I'm saying this to the ladies because as a woman myself, I'm not proud of it, but I have been guilty of it sometimes. I have been guilty of it, and I realize, like, that is like one of the biggest mistakes that we can do to our men as women. Because now what we're doing is they trust us with something vital, something very important. And when argument day come, we then took it and we belittled them for it. So now we basically shut it down. You know what I mean? So now we basically shut down the avenue for him to be vulnerable, because now he's thinking like, I can't trust you to open up to you. I can't trust you to speak to you. I cannot trust you with certain information because you are going then to throw it back in my face. You know, we need to stop telling our men when they open themselves up to us that, you know, you need to suck it up and be a man. Oh, you need to stop being, you know, we like to call our men the B word if they be vulnerable. And this is one of the things like why men have an issue being vulnerable to women, because we make them feel less than a man. We dehumanize them for being vulnerable. We emasculate them for being vulnerable to us, for opening us, for trusting us enough to open up to us. You know, so if you're in a relationship with your mate and your mate says, I don't appreciate you talking to me in that tone, because when you talk to me in that tone, in that level, and your choice of word, it makes me feel a certain way. Just because he is a man doesn't make his feelings any less valid than yours. So you being a female, if your male counterpart speaks to you in a dehumanizing manner, and we women are emotional, sensitive creatures. Me personally, I do not like to be spoken to a certain kind of way. Don't yell at me. Don't yell and don't scream. Don't shout at me. Don't do it. Okay, because I'm gonna feel a certain type of way. I'm gonna be in my feelings. No lies. Okay? You get upset. You become even more hurt when your male counterpart speaks to you in such a manner. And so now you shut down, or when you say to him, please don't disrespect me like that. Please do not speak to me like that, because I don't appreciate your tone and I don't appreciate the level in which you speak to me. You want your male counterpart to honor your feelings. You want him to respect your feelings enough to take it into consideration, so that the next time that he speaks to you, so that he can then be mindful as to the things he say, the level and the tone in which he says them. Right? Come on, ladies. Think about it. So let's flip the table. What makes you think, ladies, and this goes for me too, because I have been guilty of it. I'm not proud of it, but it takes a lot of learning and a lot of growing. Okay, it is not something, looking back at it, it is not something that I am particularly proud of. I'm not proud of it. But, you live and you learn, and you grow. When you know better, you do better, right? What makes you feel or think that your feelings are more important than your male counterparts? Because if you're speaking to the male counterparts, this is the man that is supposed to be the head of your household. This is the man that is supposed to provide and protect and to love and to do whatever in his power to make you feel loved, safe, protected, and secured. But what happens when you are the one preventing him from being the kind of man that he was destined to be? What happens when you are the one that is breaking him down because of the way that you speak to him? And when he brings it to your attention and say, hey, listen, I am a man. Do not speak to me in the manner in which that you speak to me, because when you speak to me in that level and in that tone, this is how it makes me feel. Ladies, again, what makes you think that your feelings are more valid than his? What makes you feel like because he is a man and he expresses his feelings that you should not honor his words, and you should not respect his feelings, and you should not be more mindful in the way that you speak to him? First of all, boyfriend, girlfriend, mate, partner, spouse, however you want to label yourselves or whatever, we should first of all learn how to speak more kindly to each other than we do other people. Like me, first of all, I am not in a relationship. I'm single as a single can be. Okay, let me just say it right there. But I'm just speaking as if I was in a relationship, because even when I was in a relationship in the past, so I figured that I could speak on it. The way that I speak to my mates, to my person, to my partner, is always different than how I speak to my other male friends. It's more on a lovable and a more respectable manner. Not that I don't have respect for them, for my other male friends, but the level of love and the level of respect that I have for the person that I am with transcends the respect or the love that I have for my friends, because he is someone special to me. He is extra special to me. The place in my life that he holds is at a higher level than anyone else. So when I was in a relationship, I am always mindful in the manner in which I speak to my male counterpart. And you men, listen, it has become like this trend. I'm still trying to understand, how did calling women the B word become so normalized that people say it, and even females call their friends bitches and this, whatever. First of all, do not call me outside my name. Don't do it. I don't care. I don't care in which tone and will or whatever. To me, it is not a lovable term. It will never be a lovable term to me. Do not call me outside my name. Okay? So you gentlemen, you guys have this tendency, bitches and hoes and this and that, whatever the case is. That is not how you speak to your mate. Even when she annoys you and pisses you off, that is not the way to speak to your mate. That is not the way to call on your mate. The way that you speak to the other females around you should never be on the same level in which you speak to your girlfriend, to your wife, to whoever. That level of respect should always be different than the respect level that you have with the other females around you. Okay? So in all of that, again, we have to, I will say, respect another person's feelings. We have to honor another person's feelings because it is their truth. If someone says you hurt them, you may not think that you did, but if they're feeling a certain type of way that is not positive, then you have hurt that person's feelings. And if they ask you not to do it again, please be mindful and not do it again. Be mindful that the next time that, I cannot speak to this person a certain kind of way because this person doesn't like it when I do so. Even if it's jokingly. Even if it's like a hee hee ha ha. We're just getting off. We're just having fun. We're just laughing and joking around, or whatever the case is. If a person says to you, please do not speak to me in such a manner, male and women alike, parents, this is for you too. In regards to your kids, please be mindful and please respect another person's feelings. Because again, whilst it may not mean anything to you, it means the world to them. Okay, so I know I rambled on a little bit and you guys like, oh my God, she's coming off topic or whatever the case is. Like, I know, right? But I just wanted to say that, and hopefully that you guys can think about it and try to do better next time. And if you may have hurt any other person's feelings, and in that point in time when that person came to you and said to you, your actions hurt my feelings or your words hurt my feelings, and you had totally dismissed it, please use this opportunity to call them up and apologize. I would say text, but sometimes a verbal apology, because now the person can hear your level and can hear the tone and they can hear the feeling behind it. Whereas you can't do that in a text, because a text can be misinterpreted in so many ways. Trust me, I know, because I'm a texter. But again, please use this opportunity. If you have dismissed someone's feelings when they express their discomfort, when you may have done or said something to them and you dismiss their feelings, I urge you to please pick up the phone, call them, and apologize. Because sometimes a sincere apology is all it takes, and all is well again. But you have to mean it. Again, I say, sometimes a sincere apology is all it takes to make things right again. Okay, so thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you guys enjoy my podcast, and I promise I'm not gonna wait another 5 years before I put out another show. Okay, so I appreciate you guys so much for listening. Please share it with your friends and enjoy the rest of your evening.